Good morning, everyone. I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros. Ngayon po ay Wednesday
Yes,
na. Hump day, sabi nga.
Okay, meron tayong ensaymada.
Of course.
And then we have coffee naman from, of course, Second Mile Coffee. So we're serving you news in a countdown.
Ay, all that then before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Let's begin our countdown with some updates on the PVL Reinforced Conference. The Creamline Cool Smashers fends off Cherry Tigo for their second victory. Creamline's Bernadette Pons dropped a new career best of 25 points and 23 excellent receptions. Import Erica Staunton added a 21-point outing with Michelle Gumabao, while Michelle Gumabao chipped in with 17 markers. They are now tied in the second spot with the Crossovers in Pool A, behind identical 2-1 win-loss cards. Meanwhile, PLDT swept NX led for another win, preserving a perfect 3-0 record in Pool A. Russian import Elena Samoilenko showed the way with 20 points for the high-speed hitters, while Chiara Permentilla paced NX led with 15 points and Tricia Genesis had 12 in a losing cause.
All right, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Ranking 9th is the legalization of the medical cannabis. This proposal was approved by the House on the third and final reading. 177 lawmakers voted in favor of the Access to Medical Cannabis Act, while 9 voted against it and another 9 chose to abstain. If enacted into law, the Medical Cannabis Act will lead to the creation of Medical Cannabis Office. It will be the primary regulatory body for medical cannabis. In relation to this, the Philippine National Police has burned 1.2 million pesos worth of marijuana plants in Balamban, Cebu. Authorities conducted this yesterday at Barangay Bayong. The police received a tip about the marijuana plantation in the area. However, they failed to arrest any individual allegedly involved in the plantation. A week before this, the police also burned 1 million pesos worth of marijuana in Balamban. Teka muna.
Ito akin lang Nakita ko yung video
Tsaka yung photos.
Nagsunog ka ng marijuana.
Actually, kasi
You smoke the plant, you get high. You burn the plant in front of you.
Actually, di ba, nakikita din natin to. This is not the first time na nangyayari to at nakakakita tayo ng videos or photos ng mga police authorities na doing these such operations, di ba?
Pero
makakakuha sila, magsisisi sila ng mga marijuana, tapos susunugin nila, etc.
Pero I don't know if this is PDEA Kasi PDEA, alam nila yung gagawin nila
Oo,
They don't burn They don't burn drugs.
No, because chinek ko yan, ni-research ko. Ano ba talaga yung standard operating procedure ng mga police, ng mga otoridad kapag ganito yung mga operation nila. So I check, it's in their regulation naman talaga na magsusunog sila doon sa isang open space, no? Ang kanilang dapat gawin lang daw ay magsuot ng mask.
Kaya nga.
And provided, ito namang yung video na to, wala silang mask.
That's
Tapos
what I'm
there are
saying.
certain areas, eto nga, there were certain areas also during the operations, not just this operation, but other operations as well, na may yung mga nearby residents dyan, ay nagreklamo sila kasi nahihilo sila, naaamoy nila. So I think there should be a more proper, if you can say that, na mas diba, na proper way na maayos ito, 'di ba? Kasi they need to, kasi nakalagay actually sa Supreme Court ruling na kailangan mapakita nga sa tao na walang kukunin yung mga authorities, 'di ba? From yung mga samples na nakuha nila sa operation.
All these technicalities aside naman kasi we're citing technical issues.
Yes.
I'm citing common sense na this is a plant that is meant to be inhalated. Diba? Now, the reason, yung sinabi mo, tama ka doon, yung reason na susunugin mo is because they're trying to...
yung mga ninja cup kasi,
they're trying to lessen
binibenta.
They're trying to lessen the opportunity of the policemen to have contact with drugs. But in the first place, number one, wala kang mask. Number two, yung area daw supposedly na pinagsunugan is within a radius daw of a community, that is not sufficient
Talaga ba?
ang
Yun ang hindi ko
distance.
alam, oo.
No, I was reading kasi tsaka yung wind flow sa states kasi yung anti-narcotics group nila, when they do that, they check for wind flow, they check for
Yes.
community
Yun yung sinasabi
and
ko.
then only 2 or 3 of the officers will be watching the burning, usually supervisors, tapos yung ibang police, papaalisin na nila. And they watch it from a distance. But otherwise daw, if trusted naman daw yung officers, they confiscate it and then they bury it instead of locking it up or present it to the judge.
Yung paglilibing nito, pinag-usapan din yan nun, hindi na rin nila ginagawa because nga, there are incidences na, alam mo, hinuhukay lang ulit, tapos kukunin ulit yung samples.
Hindi
yung
ginagawa ang
nahuli.
word, pero it's still in their protocol. That's still an option.
Pero yun nga, sinasabi nga natin, dapat magkaroon ng mas maigi na paraan na pag-dispose nitong mga marijuana na to na nahuli.
Sundan nila yung mga ibang protocol na i-present sa judge kasi that's part of the option. You present the drugs to the sala of the court kasi nakikita na ng judge yung evidence And then the judge will remand the evidence to a specific location. In this case, dalhin nyo sa compound ng PIDEA. Ganon yung mga ibang utos Kasi PIDEA
hindi nga pwede nila kunin yung they are only allowed a certain amount to bring parang a sample lang for yung evidentiary purposes. Pero the rest kailangan nila sunugin. So ang point ko lang dito, yes, nakikita natin talaga na kaya nga natin pinag-uusapan ito dahil 'di ba may mostly dun sa mga ibang mga nagsusunog, may mga nearby areas also na naapektuhan. So dapat gumawa sila ng mas maayos na paraan na hindi yung mangyayari. Tapos ito, yung mga pulis natin, ngayon lang ito, for example, wala naman silang mask, edi sila din hilo-hilo dyan. Although may nilalagay daw silang oil or whatever.
I understand yung sinasabi mo mga technicality na, but all technicality aside at the
Hindi ko pinagtatanggol yung technicality, I'm just here to tell you yung kanilang...
I'm saying, ang opinion ko on the matter, technicality aside, pairalin ko ang common sense. Tignan niyo po sa YouTube, may mga video ng mga US,
why I'm saying, diba?
Mga foreign correspondents na nag-cover ng sunugan ng drugs. Tawa ng tawa, live on air, dahil tong mga to, kawawa naman to, magpo-food trip ba sila? Ayan, gutom sila.
Pero yung sa Medical
police.
Cannabis Act na yan, pasadahan ko lang din na mabilis. Kasi before, there was a similar measure that was proposed also, itong Philippine Compassionate Medical Cannabis Act, was passed already on third and final reading. Kaya lang, nung January 2019, kaya nagbago ng posisyon dyan si former President Rodrigo Duterte, kaya yung Senate hindi na to pinasa. Actually, yung mga Philippine Medical Association or PMA, hindi nila gusto itong House Bill 10439 because sabi nila it would open the floodgates for the legalization of recreational marijuana.
Well, I'd like to take a look at it because we have a lot of chemical drugs that have the same effect. Diba? So why not take a look from a source of natural source?
Mahabang usapin
it's a long debate.
Oo.
But before we go lang, I'd just like to remind, yung Medical Cannabis Act legalization is not saying na we will legalize the smoking of the plant. Meron lang component mula sa marijuana.
Not for recreational purposes.
Papatubuin ng Dangerous Drugs Board or whoever will manage that, kukunin nila yung oil, the specific oil nila, and harness it for medical purposes.
Gamot.
Pakaisipin ng iba,
pwede na.
Magalisensya.
Hindi po.
Okay,
aga-aga, yun ang pinag-uusapan natin. Sige, let's move forward na sa atin countdown for today.
Sizzling at the 8th spot, senators questioned the Finance Department's order to transfer PhilHealth's unused 90 billion pesos funds back to the government. Senators Bongo and Raffy Tulfo said it would be better to use the funds to lower the premium fees or improve the coverage of members' benefits. In Defense Finance Secretary Ralph Recto said the unused funds came from the government subsidies. Recto also disclosed that PhilHealth has a 500 billion pesos benefit chest fund.
May akusasyon na dahil dito, simot ang pera ng PhilHealth, magiging bangkarote daw ito. Hindi po, may natitirang 500 billion benefit chest fund ang PhilHealth.
Ang laki pa pala ng pondo ninyo, tas bunot sila ng bunot. Alam mo, 1,200.
I agree with you po, 100%. In fact, we at PhilHealth, upper management, will recommend to President Marcos that we bring down the premium rates.
Ako mahaba-habang usapin yan. Noon pa yan natin. Kaya nga sabi ko nung nag-cover kami ng SONA noon ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos a week ago. Diba sabi ko, bakit hindi niya binanggit itong tungkol dito sa PhilHealth na to? Dahil malaking usapin ito. Dahil we're talking about billions of pesos. At kung tama ba yung ginagawa nila. Of course, the Department of Finance would always say na tama in accordance with the law yung kanilang ginagawa through the General
Because
Appropriation Act.
hindi daw budget ang binigay doon. That was from subsidies, supposedly. Subsidies kasi is, for reference lang, is additional...
Yes, hindi daw yun yung contribution ng mga
no, it's not. It's additional support from the government, di ba? Is-subsidize mo.
But the question there, kasi hindi nga yun nga yung supposedly galing sa government subsidy siya. Pero according sa ating Universal Healthcare Act, under the law, ang PhilHealth's Reserve Fund is separate from the national government's general fund and should be used to increase PhilHealth's benefit coverages. So kahit may sobra sila doon, dapat ang gagawin pa rin nila, hindi ibabalik sa national treasury.
Ano? For PhilHealth's Reserve Fund?
Oo, kung merong reserve fund.
O di doon naman gagaling ang premium. Baka
doon
yun yung,
dapat. Hindi dapat.
Kung tama sila, kung subsidy itong tira, that means you can give it back to the government
No. The
coffer.
subsidy here is galing sa sin tax law. So yung sin tax law na to ay kailangan ipondo doon sa Universal Healthcare Act.
Because it's for the but I understand kasi pag subsidized, usually kasi since government owned and controlled, 'di ba? Tapos may private part to. Yung subsidy kasi, if I invest in something, I subsidize something. In return, ang kukunin ko yung interest. So, kung ganun nga dito
Pero
yan, hindi nga okay.
Mali. Kasi yung sinasabi nila, even if this is not directly from the contribution of the members, this is from the subsidy of the government, galing sa sin tax law, na kailangan itong sin tax law na to ay ipondohan itong Universal Healthcare Act. Then we are also been talking about this na yung ang daming mga utang ng PhilHealth sa mga private hospitals hindi nababayaran sa mga doctors at yung mga expansion ng mga healthcare programs sila. Tapos yung ang pagpapababa dapat ng mga rates ng contribution.
I'd like to ask ng DOH also, lastly before we go, I'd like to ask DOH, kasi since galing sa sin tax law to, under the sin tax law kasi, they also fund programs within the DOH. So kung may program ang DOH to promote anti-smoking and good health, pwede sana ilagay doon ang kung kukunin nila ulit yung funds na sinasabi ni Ralph Recto. But you cannot put it in other projects. Pero if sa DOH siya punta, I understand that.
Di ba kaya sinasabi rin to dati ni, I forgot her name na si Magno. Diba? This shows the inefficiency of the agency. Dahil kung meron kang excess fund, dapat ginagamit mo to sa mas importanteng bagay na nakalaan doon sa guidelines doon sa batas. Hindi siya dapat ibalik sa treasury tapos gamitin sa unprogrammed funds. Yun ang sinasabi nila. So,
anyway, we'd like to
even
hear...
if sabihin mo pa na legally okay siya, pero parang morally, parang matatanggap mo
But
ba
you're not bound by moral clauses naman sa government.
Pero ako, at the end of the day, hindi mo dapat pinapakailaman yung PhilHealth to fund unprogrammed funds.
Pero sa akin, okay lang to fund unprogrammed funds if mapupunta sa DOH coffers. In other words, sa program for smoking. Kasi yung initial goal nila is pondohan natin ng DOH from
Why do you have to get it away from PhilHealth and put it sa National Treasury babalik mo sa DOH?
Because DOH also has their own programs like let me finish. DOH has their own programs for cancer patients who don't have coverage of PhilHealth kasi wala tayong universal healthcare. So in the meantime, you can ask for help.
What do you mean wala tayong universal healthcare?
Walang general universal healthcare for cancer. In other words, there are specific medicines na kino-cover lang ng PhilHealth, di ba? Meron yung immunotherapy is not fully covered. May specific cases yan. At alam ko DOH experimentally volunteers could be
Pero sa'yo
subsidized.
okay sa'yo na magkuha sila ng pera?
No, as in within legal means okay.
Kaya nga ngayon nagkakaroon ng...
Hindi ko sinabi okay kumuha. Ang sabi ko within legal means if it's within legal bounds.
Yan ang sasabihin nila legality.
I'm not saying based on interpretation. I'm saying pag dinala sa korte at sinabi ng korte legal, then so be it. Yun
Kaya
ang
yung
sinasabi
mga
ko.
sinasabi ng mga members dyan, do not touch our contributions. Alright, sige, coming up. President Bongbong Marcos meets with the two top U.S. officials. And what did they discuss?
And drug war suspects have reportedly been placed under the Interpol Blue Notice list.
Mainit ang diskusyon natin. Nagpawis po yung kiligili.
Umaga, hinaaway ako ni Angel eh.
Hindi siya inaaway. We are just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News.
Yan ang...
Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Wednesday po ngayon.
Yung mga nagtatanong sa Facebook tsaka YouTube, tama po kayo, may Olympics po nangyayari dito.
sabi ni Gabriel Romero, parang sa Olympics lang, punch and counter punch ang mga Castros.
Pero alam mo naman, at the end of the day, hindi mananalo si husband kasi the wife is always right.
Oo, pero ngayon pala, nakita ko sa Facebook memory ko, 2 years ago, July 31, 2022, ito yung araw na namatay si former President Fidel Ramos. So 2 years na siya ngayon.
2 years na ba yun?
Namatay.
Oh, I remember that kasi medyo bago-bago pa tayo dito sa Signal family. When that news came in nga that he had passed, one of the icons of Philippine democracy noong 1986.
Si Hello, Fellow Tigers.
Former general. Not only that, the guy who never smoked his cigar but always bit it, tas laing tumatalon. And I remember kahit nung 70s na siya, tumatalon pa rin, di ba? Galing ni... And ano siya, addict sa pagbabasa din, sa books.
Of course, very intelligent.
Very intelligent.
Batiin ko lang itong nandito sa YouTube natin, si Mar Santiago, si Gabriel Romero, si Gary Co, si CJ Tan, si Ronald Maxtay, good morning, siya si Gina Villa, and of course si Tita Daisy Cancho, di natin nabati siya kahapon.
Oy, Tita Daisy, hello.
Yung sagot niya kung ang tanong, doon sa tanong mo, kung ang coconut ba ay fruit or not. Sabi niya fruit. Yun
ang tanong ko, sino po, kung kayo ang judges sa Olympics, sino nanalo ng boxing dito?
Sa amin.
Okay.
Mamaya, marami pa tayong mga pag-uusapan na mainit-init. Yung Facebook, batiin mo na rin. Sila Mina Banyales,
Mamaya na, go
Ralph
lang.
Domingo, Mig Sebron, Alex Fuentes, and si Sam
Sam
Pokemon
Pokemon,
Go,
of
at si Gary
course.
Field. Alright,
Okay.
let's continue with our countdown. Heated at the 7th spot is Mayor Baste Duterte. The Davao City mayor threatened to slap the Davao Police Region's chief for the reshuffling of police officers in his city. Mayor Baste launched tirades against Police Brigadier General Nicolas Torre III. He questioned Torre's credibility as a police chief and said the move to reshuffle the police officers was disrespectful to his authority.
May sa paon yung tawhanan, kita sa paon yung nakunin. Pag mo palang niswag, paon yung nakunin po.
Torre said Mayor Baste is not worth responding to. He added that to be threatened is one thing, but to actually do it is an entirely different thing. Oh, medyo malaman yun,
Malaman yun, malaman.
Malaman yun.
Alam mo kasi-
Hinahamon ba niya?
Historically, yung mga Duterte clan, they're very anong tawag doon? Iron Men.
Yes.
Iron Men ang the way they tackle their politics, di ba? So the son is of course very likened to his father. Di ba? So yung the way he, yung rhetoric, ang tawag doon? Rhetoric ba?
Oo, rhetoric.
Yung rhetoric niya.
Ganun talaga sila.
Pero sabi
Tsaka, di ba, if you can remember, during the Duterte's administration, talagang very, kumbaga, ano man tawag doon, very close ang relationship niya with the police at saka soldiers.
It's because parang at that time, yung mayor had the appointing power kasi sa mga sundalo, di ba? Pero ngayon parang DLG ata ang nag-assign
Yes.
for some area. So, si Mayor Baste ata had no hand in picking yung hepe ng Davao City Police, kaya kaaway niya siguro ngayon to.
Oo. So, pero yun nga, medyo maanghang-anghang yung mga palitan ng ano na yan. Eh, yung kay...
Iba ang salita sa gawa.
Oo, di ba?
Tapang.
Hamunan ba to? Hindi natin alam kung narinig yan or alam na yan ni Baste, yung sinagot sa kanya ng chief doon sa Davao. Pero yun nga, issue nila talaga yung police dahil even with the Vice President Sara Duterte.
Correct.
Iba yun ang issue nila.
Yan ang issue nila.
Yung security naman.
Yes.
Pero feeling ko din na divert lang to ni Vice President Sara Duterte yung usapin eh.
Ayoko naman ganun.
Doon sa pagkawala niya during the bagyo, di ba?
Yeah.
Kahit na ba sabihin mo pa na nandiyan dyan yung team mo in place, na nasabi mo na lahat ng dapat gawin, iba pa rin yung, di ba, true leadership na pangpapakita ka nandoon
Through action.
sa action na.
Correct.
In times of need. But okay, let's continue with our countdown.
Coming in at top 6, Senate President Chis Escudero hits the PNP for not being able to arrest Alice Guo. Escudero says it's a shame for police force that the suspended Bamban mayor is still at large. Guo has been ordered arrested by the Senate after her failure to show up in hearings. Despite this, Escudero says there's no need to reduce the budget for the PNP and NBI.
Nakakahiya, kahiya-hiya para sa PNP na hindi magawa ito. Lalo na nandito pa naman daw sila sa bansa ayon sa Bureau of Immigration.
Meanwhile, Senator Joel Villanueva has filed an anti-POGO bill to lock in President Marcos's POGO ban. This aims to revoke and cancel all POGO and other related licenses issued by PAGCOR. It would also effectively repeal Republic Act 11590 or the act taxing POGOs. Okay, the good move yan kay Senator, in filing that bill. It's to ensure talaga na walang gray areas of allowing IGLs or POGOs to exist anymore.
Hindi, tsaka ang ano nila dyan is baka mamaya, let's say for example, okay, ngayon sa Marcos administration, wala. Pero pag nagpalit ng presidente,
Order.
baka maibalik. So magandang gawing batas na.
Kaya magandang, to repeal.
To repeal, oo.
Kaya maganda yung ginawa niya is because pwede i-argue sa next, kunyari lang, hypothetically sa next presidential administration, sasabihin nila, let's bring back POGOs because there wasn't really an order to totally ban them. Number two, there's a provision in the Constitution, di ba, may bill na na-file that allows taxing. That means if you have a bill that says you can tax POGOs, that means pwede natin ibalik. Diba? So, kaya,
tama naman yun.
Para tama, this is a good move to clean all avenues, to pave the way for a clean and total ban na hindi na per administration ang directive.
Yung sinabi ni Senate President Chis Escudero, nakakahiya. hindi pa rin nahahanap si hindi pa rin naaaresto si suspended mayor Alice Guo.
Pero I agree with SP Cheese na huwag naman tanggalan ng pondo yung
Kasi may
PNP.
panakot si
because
Senator Jinggoy.
Hypothetically kasi, di ba, kung kunyari, you own a company, may weak department ka, mahina ang department mo, hindi mo tatanggalan ng pondo yung mahinang department. Dadagdagan mo pa ng pondo, pero titignan mo sino namumuno na pumalpak. Yun ang ayusin mo. Tanggalin mo yung department head na pumalpak, pero you infuse money for improvement, di ba? Tama naman yung point ni SP Cheese doon.
Pero oo nga naman, di ba, hanggang ngayon hindi pa nahuli. Pero may isa pang hindi din
She
sila
was
nahuhuli.
cited. There was reports she
Sabi?
was cited in the Bulacan area. Para kaya doon nagalit sa ibang senador. Ay, nakita nyo pala eh.
Bakit di nyo hinuli?
Ba't di nyo hinuli?
Sino nakakita yung PNP din?
I don't know. Basta may report na was, I heard it sa radio, na na-cite siya. But no action was taken.
Dapat na na picturean or na videohan.
Kung tayo kaya makita natin.
Paparazzi, 'di ba? Pero wait lang, eto hinahanap nila. Yung isa hinahanap ba din? Ang hirap hanapin ang hindi hinahanap. Hanggang ngayon yung si
Finding
Pastor
Tibuloy.
Tibuloy, hindi pa rin siya mahanap-hanap. All right, let's move on na. Moving over now to our top 5. The Philippine Coast Guard maintains that the oil spill in Bataan is under control. The PCG says they did not see traces in other areas of oil during their aerial inspection on Tuesday. However, 5 barangays in Limay, Bataan have failed the water quality test for swimming, while fishing has been prohibited in 4 barangays in the said municipality. So far, 18 leaking valves of sunken empty Terra Nova has been sealed prior to siphoning operations. Meanwhile, authorities say it might take them 2 weeks to salvage another sunken ship in Bataan. Maano yan eh, di ba? Sinasabi nga natin kung hindi nila maagapan ito, this is going to be the largest, di ba?
Yeah.
Spill na talagang makaka-apekto sa maraming dito sa Pilipinas, sa atin, di ba? Sa Philippine water natin.
Yung isa naman na sinasabi, yung American sounding, ano pangalan nun?
Bradley, si
Yung Bradley, parang industrial diesel naman. So,
vessel siya, empty vessel.
parang yung industrial diesel naman kasi in-explain na ng PCG, it dissipates on its own because it is a light, it's a light fuel, it's a light gas. So, mag-isa siyang...
Etong si Terra Nova, yun yung importanteng...
Industrial fuel talaga yun, which is, it cost, mas malaki ang catastrophic effect nito kaysa yung sa ito. Kasi meron pa isang boat na sumadsad eh. Pero tinatanong nila, bakit hindi nyo pinagtuunan ng pansin to? It's because after assessment, ang primary concern is the Terra Nova pa rin. Kasi diesel itong next to it.
Yes.
Diesel daw on its own resolves and mas konti ang quantity.
Pero sinasabi kasi nga ng PCG, 'di ba? Parang pinabubulaanan nila na merong na pagkalat na langis doon sa area kasi 'di ba may mga videos na lumabas from Greenpeace Philippines if I'm not mistaken. And yung mga tapos yung pag na-interview mo yung mga residente doon, yung mga mangingisda, sinasabi nila na meron na silang nakita or affected na sila. Pero yung sa PCG naman sinasabi nila hindi naman daw.
No, hindi verified.
Hindi
In other
verified.
words, because ang nakita sa mga pictures sa Greenpeace is oil sheen. An oil sheen can come from a bangka daw na several bangkas na dumaan, tapos magdi-dissipate ang sheen. Iba ang sheen sa slick eh, di ba? So they will take samples na daw of that oil sheen, kung saan na-report ng Greenpeace, and they will sample it if it is of the same match doon sa Terra Nova, kung doon ang galing. Kasi pwedeng hindi naman nanggaling doon eh.
Hindi doon. May possibility.
May possibility na nanggaling from natural pollutant from other sources. So,
ang importante,
i-match nila.
ang importante dyan, yung 18 valves supposedly na yung butas nga na nagli-leak yung oil ay natakpan na para makapag-proceed sila ng siphoning operation nila.
Kailangan din yung valve ng heart ko takpan.
Bakit?
Wala stress ako sa debate sa'yo.
Sa PhilHealth.
Hindi mo na pinabigyan ng matanda. Hinayaan mo pa akong mag-high blood dito. Oo, high blood ako sa'yo.
Hindi, kailangan lang natin isa-isahin yung issue kasi para mas maintindihan natin lahat-lahat.
Hindi, mali ka. Hindi dapat isa-isahin issue.
Ano?
Wala lang. Trip ko lang mangontra. Okay, wala na akong argument eh.
Pero yun na, importante, lagi tayo nakaantabay dyan sa
Yeah,
oil spill,
oo.
sa possible na oil
So,
spill na yan.
we
Dahil
have-
we have a lot of fisher folks and maaapektuhan
Yeah,
yung
and then
livelihood
supposedly, we have 3 vessels now.
Millions of
We have
pesos pag-usapan
3
natin.
sunken vessels now, di ba? Yung Terra Nova, yung Bradley, and another one that recently na nakita. Pero maliit lang daw ang quantity, something like 18 barrels lang naman ng diesel. Oo.
So, saka dapat malaman din natin kasi wala tayong makausap nga, 'di ba, after siphoning yung fuel na yon from empty Terra Nova, where will they put it?
Yes,
Paano? Tapos 'di ba, gusto nila kasi lumutang na yung sunken ship kapag na-siphon nila, where will they bring it, etc. So those are the operational procedures that we really need to know yung mga details on that. All right?
Okay.
Sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Ranking third is the dispute in the US-Philippine Sea. Some fisher folks said the Chinese Coast Guard harassed them while they were fishing in Scarborough Shoal. In a House hearing yesterday, Eddie Edura of Big Kiss ng Mangingisda shared his experience of the CCG, catching them at the lagoon in Scarborough Shoal. He detailed his harassment experience with the CCG, like getting injured after walking on corals. Despite this, Edura said that their group will continue fishing in Scarborough Shoal.
Napakasakit po sa amin nangyari sa paghaharas po nila sa amin. Hindi kami titigil na mangisda. Basta hindi lang po nila kami gagamitan ng kamay na bakal, patuloy pa rin kaming mangisda.
Meanwhile, National Security Council Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya refuted China's claims of our troops asking for their permission for the resupply mission. In his interview with The Big Story, Malaya insisted that we don't need to notify China about our resupply mission since the Scarborough Shoal is part of our exclusive economic zone.
I think we have proven substantially and clearly to the Filipino people and to the world that there was no such incident that happened at sea, nor was there a provision in the agreement that required us to get permission and to allow boarding and inspection of our ships.
Yeah, we don't need to notify, pero parang lumalabas din is...
Paalam o pinapaalam?
No, wait, in word, parang we need to, parang FYI.
Parang at the end of the day, tama pala si si Executive Secretary
alam mo,
sabihin.
at the end of the, kasi at the end of the day, ganito kasimple lang yon. I claim I own my house, you claim you own my house. Kunyari ganon. Tapos, magpapaalam ako sa kapitbahay ko para pumasok sa bahay ko. Or, kasi hindi pa alam, let's rephrase it. Hoy, kapitbahay
Kasunduan tayo
Hindi pa alam Papasok lang ako ng bahay ko Hindi pa alam yon, pero I notified him or I told him.
Wala daw dapat i-notify ang Pilipinas kapag gagawa ng resupply mission.
Sabi naman ni ADG yan, ni Jonathan Malaya, wala. Pero parang ang inaamin ng iba, we're telling them we're gonna pass through para siguro walang away.
Nako.
Parang,
saka
I don't know.
diba? Basta daw, kasi hindi kasi nga pinablik yung nilalaman nitong professional agreement
it's sensitive issue daw. May mga operational procedures daw na hindi pwedeng ipakita sa public, sabi nila.
Talaga?
Okay.
Hindi pwede ipakita. Pero yun nga, ang inaalala ko lang talaga dyan, of course, yung syempre aside dun sa resupply mission na ginagawa natin dun sa BRP Sierra Madre, of course, yung ating mga mangingisda doon, na sila yung nakakaranas first hand ng mga pambubuli doon sa karagatan. Na hindi naapektuhan, of course, hindi lang, syempre, yung livelihood nila, of course, yung mga pansarili nilang interest, di ba, na mabigyan din ng mapapakain yung kanilang pamilya. Tapos yung takot ba, yung fear na every time pupunta sila doon, may mangyayari bang masama ngayong araw na to? Ano kaya yung mangyayari? Will there be PCG around para i-rescue kami kung sakaling may mangyari?
Dahil dyan kukuha ko
yung mga
salita ka lang.
ganun
Valid naman sinasabi mo.
So, ewan ko, hindi ko lang alam ang anong kahihinatnan nitong usapin natin dito sa West-Philippine Sea.
Basta, at least I hope...
At saka yung papila, inaalala ko, yung BRP Sierra Madre natin, one of these days na lang, bigla na lang, wala na siya, kumalas na kasi hindi ka pagkain nga lang, hirap ka makapagdala doon, yung pakayang construction na materials.
Before we move on to next, there are several pictures that came out, not also sa pahayagan natin, but in international papers of the BRP Sierra Madre. Maganda ang kuha. Ang dating ng kuha kasi is very iconic. Ito nagiging problem din, sinasabi din ng ibang mga analyst. Ang optics ito is, the shot was beautiful because may Philippine flag na nakatayo. Nandun yung Sierra Madre, the coast around it is very beautiful. Pero the ship is rust-ridden. In other words, this is supposed to be a symbol of our fight sa West Philippine Sea. The symbol speaks a thousand words eh. Diba? Parang ganito ba resolute ang resolve natin? Na the symbol of our fight sa West Philippine Sea is rust, is a rust bucket. Parang, at least at the very least, let's repair it to a condition that is acceptable.
May plano tayo dyan. May mga plano tayong
kailan?
nakalatag para magkaroon ng construction operation dyan sa
Alam mo,
ating BRP
yung Sierra Madre na yan, nung rinan ang ground yan.
1990, anong year yun?
90...
98? Oo. Anong year yun? Direct?
Oo. Isa pa lang ang anak ko ngayon, may apo na ako. May apo na tayo. May apo na tayo. Hindi pa rin re-repair yung kalawang.
Uy, hindi ha. Alam mo, tumatawa tayo dito pero very serious ang usapin
Ang tawa nito is may poot sa puso.
Hindi, tsaka tuloy ginagawang dahilan yan ng Chinese Coast Guard na para sila rin daw, di ba sinabi nila yun, magpa-file ng case na tayo actually yung gumagawa ng environmental damage by stationing that ship in Panama.
Then let's not give them
kasi nga daw rusty na, may na yun, apektado na.
Huwag natin sila bigyan ng bala para puntiryahin tayo. Diba? Ayusin natin naman na pinturahan natin, palitan natin yung bakal. Gusto magdala ako.
Paano nga? Hindi nga, pagkain nga, hindi mo ba madala doon ng...
O hindi mag-jet ski ako, may dalang corrugated roof sa likod. May 9, 1997. 1-year-old
Nung pinadus doon, tama ba yung word?
Wait, I will clarify. Wala pa akong anak noon. Sabi, 1997, wala pa akong anak. Ngayon may apo na tayo. Hindi pa rin naayos yung barko.
Oo. Pero apo mo, Char. Di ba ako lola, excuse me.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Oo. Si ano, ang tawag nito? Oo. Love the interaction between the Castros. Bawal ang pikon, sabi ni Julius Manalo. Basta tagapagsanhan palaban, sabi ni Ronald Maxtay.
Well,
Ang dami kong kakampi dito.
Basta QC palaban din.
Sabi
Hindi lang
ni,
tagapagsanhan ng palaban, pati Quezon City.
Oo, si ano nanonood din sa atin of course, si Mina Benyales and the rest of our Jessie Mendez family. It's dyan sa may cash and carry. Si Gina Santos, si VJ, si Tasha, si Barbara. Sino pa? Si Hener nanonood din yan sa atin. Si
Morning.
Dems Oliveros
Good morning sa inyo
nanonood din
lahat.
sa atin. Of course, si Ralph Domingo, Gary Field, and Sam Pokemon Go. Alright.
Right, meron pa tayong tourists flock to a night market in Davao City, not just for food and clothing, but also for therapeutic massages.
Para po bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal Francis Orsio.
Buhay na buhay kahit maghahating gabi na. Ganyan ang karaniwang eksena sa mga night markets. Pwedeng mag-food trip o di kaya'y pumili ng pang-fashion mula sa kaliwat ka ng ukay-ukay. Pero ibahin nyo raw sa Rojas Avenue Night Market sa Davao City. Bukod kasi sa mga pang-chibog at OOTD, meron lang naman silang aabot sa halos 100 masahista o massage therapists na nag-aalok ng affordable body massage.
Para lang po sa mga tao na gusto magpa-relax po, in-offeran namin yung habang may waiting sila ng kasamahan nila. Ang massage na in-offer namin sa tao is yung Swedish Shiatsu massage at saka yung Pinoy Hilot Wellness.
Patok na patok daw yan sa mga turistang dumadayo sa Davao City. Ang turista ngang si Ed na galing pang Maynila, pagkatapos kumain, hindi nagdalawang isip na subukan ang whole body massage. Di pa nakontento, sinubukan din ang bone setting o chiropractic adjustment para maibsan ang pananakit ng kasukasuan.
Nakakaramdam ka ng ginhawa kapag ka minamasahe yung buong mong katawan. Mahuhusay sila actually.
Siyempre, hindi na rin tayo nagpahuling ma-experience ang bone setting.
Yan, and then push ko siya upward. Just loosen. Oh, eto. Ayun, balik. Madali lang yan. Sa bone settings, if you have any dislocation, yun ang ibalik natin. Para mag-normal ang functions ng lahat ng nerves.
Ang kakaibang offer sa night market sa Rojas Avenue, nagsimula pa raw noong 2014. Pawang mga profesional ang mga massage therapist dahil sila ay TESDA accredited. Bahagi ito ng programa ng Davao City LGU para bigyan ng alternative livelihood ang mga Davaoeños. Kaya kung planong mamasyal sa Davao, isama na sa bucket list ang pagbisita sa Rojas Night Market para kompleto na ang travel experience na mabawasan ang stress sa pangangatawan. Mobile journalist Francis Orsio po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
Maganda yan, yung mga nasa-stress sa mga gastos tsaka sa paglalakad sa shopping. Pwede magpamasahe doon, no? Oo. Si Francis pabanat ang buto. Dapat meron tayo dito habang nagbabalita dahil feeling ko atakin ako ng blood sa'yo.
Bakit?
Wala ko pang pakalma.
Sabi ni Gary Field, my wife and I always compromise. I admit I'm wrong and she agrees with me.
No.
Diba?
Pareho po
Happy
kami.
Argument Day, sabi niya.
Pareho kami ni Angel, ni Angela na hindi mag-a-admit. Para kaming ugaling abogado eh. Oo. Alright, madaming pa tayong pag-usapan. May dalawa pa. So let's get right to our next one. Going straight to our top two, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin paid a courtesy call on President Marcos. The two U.S. officials are in the country for the fourth Philippine-U.S. Foreign and Defense Ministerial Dialogue. Marcos reiterated that the two countries' strong ties remain and the tensions with China in the West-Philippine Sea.
I'm always very happy that these communication lines are very open, so that all the things that we are doing together, in terms of our alliance, in terms of the specific context of our situation here in the West-Philippine Sea and in the Indo-Pacific, are continuously examined and re-examined. So we are agile in terms of our responses.
After stopping at Malacanang, Blinken and Austin proceeded to meet with Gibo Chodoro of DND and Enrique Manalo of the DFA. Here, Blinken said they are concerned over China's aggression, but Washington's support for the Philippines will continue.
China must uphold its commitments to not obstruct the Philippines in their resupply missions. We stand by our ironclad defense commitment to the Philippines under the Mutual Defense Treaty. That extends to armed attacks on Filipino armed forces, public vessels or aircraft, including the Coast Guard, anywhere in the Pacific, including the South China Sea.
500 million US dollars yan yung kanilang ipinangako yung pledge, 'di ba? Para maipasa
modernize
sa Congress at maibigay sa atin.
Yeah.
'Di ba?
Modernizing of the
Sama
upgrading.
ba dyan yung
Actually,
BRP Sierra Madre?
Upgrading of the AFP and capability na rin ng Navy to at least have a basic level of defense sa, 'di ba, yung acceptable level of defense sa country. Ang alam ko, titignan nila noon was yung at least to have an offensive missile position.
Yes.
Like yung mga, similar to the Typhoon, yung mga feature dito. But that is medyo modern na yun. But similar to that.
They also mentioned yung hardening capabilities like cyber capabilities. No, kasama din yung Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, yung EDCA. 'Di ba? Yung mga investments doon dadagdagan nila. Kung magdadagdag ng EDCA sites yan ang hindi natin alam kasi marami talagang tumututol dyan sa EDCA. Pero yun nga, modernization. Pero hopefully, makasama din dyan, di ba, yung sa BRP Sierra Madre.
I hope they upgrade the Sierra Madre.
Tsaka syempre, alam ko during that meeting sa Malacanang, sinabi rin nila parang na hindi nagtatapos yung tulong nila kung whatever outcome yung mangyari sa US election. Kasi syempre, di ba, nagtatanong sila, anong mangyayari na kung halimbawa hindi na manalo ang Democratic Party this time around? Diba? At manalo naman ng Republican, anong mangyayari sa Pilipinas? Diba?
Actually, historically naman, magkaiba sila lang.
I mean, yung mga agreements at saka mga yung funding na ito na gagawin
No,
nila,
actually, yung nga, I was saying historically, magkakaiba nga ng foreign policy ang Republicans and Democrats. But you have to remember, ang Democrats have already said in an interview na they may shift foreign policy, but it's going to shift from Ukraine-centric and European-centric into Asian-centric, which means may Asian interest ng US if a Republican wins, diba? So if a Republican wins, that means more funding will come into different Asian countries. You have Malaysia, you have Japan, diba? And then strengthening of ties with Australia kasi nasa Asian grid yan and sa atin. Because may interest ng US of developing ties with this Indo-Pacific region.
Actually, in fact, I was reading about it. Sabi nga ni President Bongbong Marcos, he was surprised by the visit of the two officials considering nga daw yung nangyayaring politics sa US. At sinabi sa kanya ni even si Blinken and si Austin, sinabi, we're more than allies, we're family. Yun ang sinabi. And syempre, may mga on the other side of the fence, like yung mga Makabayan Bloc, etc. They don't like this. And we all know naman kasi this administration has geared toward the West talaga, the US, diba? US-centric nga ang sabi nila when it comes to foreign policies. Unlike kay former President Rodrigo Duterte na galit sa US nung kanyang time.
The Philippines naman, if you look at its rich history of occupation, diba? It's talagang nasa Western culture ang natin. We initially started off with Spain, diba? Spain now, it belongs to the European Union. And naman, Spain is medyong on the Western-centric side of culture. Then you have Japan, who has strong ties also to the US. Although, iba ang history natin with Japan. They have, after that incident yung sa mga comfort women, they have geared towards democracy and the Western way of things, of handling things. So, medyong it's just but right na i-strengthen natin our position with these other nations.
All right, let's continue with our countdown. Tama kaya ang mga hula ninyo?
The 5 individuals tagged as suspects in the Duterte administration's bloody war on drugs are already on Interpol's Blue Notice list. This is what former Senator Antonio Trillanes claimed in his interview with Storycon. He explained that former Philippine National Police Chiefs Senator Bato de la Rosa and Oscar Albayalde, former Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Chief Romeo Karamat Jr., and National Police Commission Commissioner Edilberto Leonardo, and former Intelligence Officer Eleazar Mata can be held in the port of entry of selected countries until the ICC investigators arrive and interview them.
May blue notice na sila sa specific countries. Yun po ang aking impormasyon dun sa lima na yan. Kaya pagka lumapas po yan sila dito, makakalabas sila kasi hindi dito ilalagay. No? Hindi makikita
sa receiving country.
Natin. Pero dun sa port of entry, nung bansang pupuntahan nila, doon sila.
Trillanes said the interview is one of ICC's way to pressure the suspects to cooperate in the investigation. Solicitor General Menardo Guevara earlier told the Big Story that the Philippines will not cooperate with the ICC. However, the ICC can continue interviewing individuals in the country for their investigation.
But that does not mean that the ICC prosecutor cannot continue his investigation. He can do so. He can interview these 5 people directly.
Correct.
All that we're saying is the government will not be involved.
Trillanes said Guevara has softened his interpretation of the ICC's request letter to interview the 5 suspects. He added that Guevara should resign from the Marcos cabinet out of delicadeza.
Kung ako sa kanya, out of delicadeza, dapat mag-inhibit siya or mag-resign na sa altogether kasi ano ho yan, na makakompromise yung legal advice kay President Marcos dahil may pro-Duterte cabinet secretary in the person of Guevara.
Let's find out yun
Hindi kasi yung kay Menardo, yung stance nila is they made it, kasi ibang before talagang we will not cooperate.
Yes.
Pero ngayon, they're saying we will not assist but we will also not hinder.
They can continue whatever it is that they need to do here. Pero
Kasi
kasi
ang
before,
stance
di ba?
ng PRRD administration is they are not allowed to set foot here. Pero ngayon, nag-iiba na yung tono parang, okay, hindi kami part ng investigation, hindi namin kayo tutulungan, pero if you wanna come here and talk to people, then might as well talk to people. And the OTP, the Office of the Prosecutor ng ICC, has made it clear na whatever information is sinasabi ni Trillanes dito, hindi nang galing sa kanila, it's not an official communication. Although they do not, anong tawag na yung word? We do not deny or we do not admit or confirm or deny the veracity of his claims. Pero kasi for the part of the OTP, they don't release daw press releases.
Yung mga ganito, di ba? Kasi siya nga, actually, sa kanya rin natin, if I'm not mistaken, narinig yung una na baka magkaroon na ng arrest by July, di ba? Kaso ngayon, mag-August na, wala pa rin arrest na nangyayari. Tapos yun nga, in fact, dun sa sinabi mismo din ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa kanyang third SONA, diba? Ni-reiterate niya no, na we have independent judiciary system, diba? Ano ba yun? Gumagana yung judiciary system natin.
Definitely gumagana. The mere fact na Laila de Lima nga was released means gumagana. But ang point kasi na to is the timeline of which when this happened and then yung respondent mo is a sitting president at that time. Diba? So at that time, syempre, even if the justice system is working, who would prosecute a sitting president? So that's why these cases were filed.
Ang sinasabi naman nila, umalis na tayo sa ICC. Diba? Pero hindi naman daw...
Retroactive naman. Kahit umalis tayo, sakop pa rin naman ng member. At the time na these crimes happened, we were a member of the Rome Statute. We were still part of that So that means, kailangan investigahan yung timeline. That's why yung cut-off natin was 2019 before we left.
Tsaka na ano ko dito kasi before sinasabi lang nila i-interviewin. Pero itong 5 na to na sinasabi nila, tag as suspects na.
Yes.
Suspects na to
On the case against President Rodrigo Duterte.
Okay,
alright, tayo pa pag-usapan. But before that, I'd like to leave everyone with a quote. Your self-worth is determined by you. You don't have to depend on someone telling you who you are. Beyonce. In other words, pake ko kung anong sinasabi mo tungkol sa akin. I know myself.
You know yourself? Are you really sure? That wraps up today's episode of Brunch. Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
Ikaw na. Pagod na ako sa debate.
He is Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.
Good boy.